Are you trying to figure out what kind of financial aid your student would be eligible for? If you are, then you may have come across the Student Aid Estimator, or something that used to be called the FAFSA Forecaster. This tool is something that the government created to help families get an idea of where they may lie once they submit their FAFSA based on their financial situation. So this is actually part 2 of a training on Pell Grant eligibility, which is one of the grants that a student can access by submitting FAFSA depending on their situation. So if you missed part 1, we will link to that in the description. You can check that out after you watch this tour. But today I wanted to go ahead and just show you how to go through the Student Aid Estimator and really point out what the different questions are asking and why those are important and how they'll affect your student's eligibility. Hello, my name is Jocelyn Pineda-Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System and the Debt-Free Degree Lab. Now, one thing that I have to say with this, and I kind of said this in part 1, is that if your family gets results on this that you just think are completely and totally unrealistic, you're not alone. A lot of families get their results and they look at them and they say, how in the world do they expect us to pay for this? That is where all the other strategies that we cover come into play, like scholarships, real estate hacking, credit card hacking, negotiating and appealing, budgeting, cash flow planning, tax credits, the list goes on. In fact, in Debt-Free Degree Lab, that is what we do. We cover all these other unique strategies beyond scholarships to help families really create a unique puzzle piece of their own towards that debt-free degree. So I want to go ahead and get into the tour, but again, if your family's disappointed, the good news is that there are tons of other strategies. Let's go ahead and do a quick walkthrough. So when you come to this URL, which again we'll put in the description, you just come down to here where you can begin it. It says it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. So when you click on this, I'm just going to go ahead and put in some pretend information. So here we'll put the date of birth, 12/18, we'll put 2004. And by the way, that is my real birthday, December 18th, not 2004. For marital status, and again, this is based on, it says here, you is referring to the student. So this is based on your student's information. So what is the student's marital status? Unmarried typically, but of course you want to choose whatever is accurate. What state of residence? Let's go ahead and pick one here. Then which grade level will you be in? This is because, and it explains here, the loan amounts actually vary based on your student's school year. They increase the further they're into their degree. So if they are freshmen, they'll receive the lowest amount and it'll increase. This is why they asked this question. All right, let's click continue. Does the student have any children or other dependents? Let's say no. And this is where those exceptions come in. Are they active duty or veteran? Are their parents deceased? Were they in foster care or dependent of the ward? Are they emancipated or completely separate? Which actually we will have a video coming up about whether or not a student can claim themselves as independent. Are they homeless? None of the above typically applies here. Okay, so now here they define the parent. So in this definition, a parent would be biological or adoptive parent or step parent, or a person that has the state has determined as a parent. So if you need help determining this, then go ahead and they have visuals here to help you determine it. Now, this is based on the parent that they spend the majority of their time with. So 184 days a year that they're with, then that's the parent that we would go based on. So as of today, what's the marital status? Let's just go ahead and put married, and you can also put unmarried. But again, if the parents are not living together, then only the parent that they live with will matter here. What's the parent's age? Let's just go ahead and put 1 in here, and we'll put the same state for legal residence. Now, when we come into here, this will be based off, again, your student, but how many people are in the household, including yourself. So this would include any siblings or anyone that is receiving support from the parent that they're living with. So let's go ahead and say there's 5 people, 2 parents and 3 siblings or 3 children, including the student we're writing about here. And then if at this moment of recording it, the expected family contribution or the SAI is divided by how many children are in college. So this is why this number matters. They are taking that away at this moment. We're hoping that changes, but as of right now, that is why this figure matters. Let's go ahead and leave 1. Did you file taxes? Did the student file taxes? Let's go ahead and say the parent's income was 80,000 and the student's income was, let's just say they had a little job throughout the year and they made $5,000. Okay, what is the total value of household assets? Let's say that the parents have 10,000 in the bank and the student was able to save up 1,000. Okay, now based on this, so it says here, based on the household size and the income level, as well as the assets, this is the estimated family contribution or future student aid index. So 7,266, you can see here. So when we scroll down here, you can see how does this EFC affect your financial aid. So this is where you look at cost of attendance, which we have many videos also explaining the difference between this, and you take the cost of attendance, which again is not just tuition, but it's the total cost of attendance. You take out the EFC and that will give you your financial need. Now, based on this figure down here, you see that actually it says that we are not eligible for Pell Grants. So again, we might want to look into those exceptions, or we also have a financial aid appeal video where I explain if your family can appeal these results. But again, remember that this is just an estimate, but it's more than likely pretty accurate. It does say that the student would most likely be eligible for work study, which is debt-free money that will not have to be paid back, but it does have to be earned through part-time jobs. And then they say that they'll get the maximum loan amount. So this is the total that they are saying that they'll receive. I hate that they use the term federal aid because in my opinion, I guess debt is aid, but it's not really forgiving, if you will. So then they come down here and they say, okay, go ahead and you can fill in actual FAFSA if it's open at the moment. But ultimately, this is the student aid estimator where your family can figure out if your student is eligible. Okay, so there you have it. Again, we will have all the links in the description to the resources that you can use to take advantage of this opportunity and see if it is something in your family's future. Now, don't forget to take advantage of our 6 steps to securing scholarship free webinar. We have the link in the description below, or you can go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar. I cover my 6 steps to securing scholarships, how I got 6 figures and graduate debt free, but also how we've helped families surpass $10 million in what they've been able to bring in for paying for college. So again, check out that free training because that is really the next step after we're figuring out what financial aid our family is eligible for. Now, I hope you found this helpful. And again, if you missed part 1, you can find that in the description as well. And I will see you in the next video.